All right, everybody. We're live with Bart Bettiga. We're going to be discussing all things coverings. We've got coverings in 2 weeks. In fact, it's 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me, Luke. I'm always, a lot of people's lives are based around the holidays or Christmas, but I think those of us in the tile industry kind of know that we kind of have a pre Tice and pre coverings and then after Tice and coverings. So in the association world, our lives everything goes into those first 4 months of these shows. And then, May 1st, we could actually focus on some other things besides putting on big trade shows. So
Right.
we're excited. We're excited about coverings, and as you know, last year was an abbreviated show due to COVID and the pandemic. We held it in July in Orlando. We did. I felt we did a great job of putting on an event, but it was certainly smaller. We weren't able to have our international exhibitors present at that event nearly the way they normally are. And I think you'll see in Las Vegas here this year at the convention center that we're back to a traditional trade show.
Yeah.
We'll have all the international exhibitors in the pavilions, the stone pavilion, the fabricators areas, and obviously the North American pavilion with the pillared by the Tile Council of North America pavilion. So it should really feel like a show again, and it's been a long time.
Yeah, it sure has. It feels longer than it actually has been. It's like these last couple of years.
It's been a tough couple of years.
Drag on, man. But we're glad to be back. And I was looking at the map earlier today, and you can look at the map if you're watching this. It's coverings.com, and they'll have the map, they'll have the education schedule, all that good stuff, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But I was looking at the map, and they've got the North Hall, and then of course the Central Hall, like you mentioned, which is
Right.
full of like the Central Hall is full of basically like tile of Italy, ceramics of Italy, I should say, and tile of Spain, and all the tile manufacturers, it appears, are down there. And then our mortar manufacturers, industry, associations like the NTCA, they're all up in the North Hall. Just to give people a brief overview of what's going on. I want to highlight some of these booths and rooms. Like,
Yeah,
for
and
instance,
it's easy to get in the Las Vegas Convention Center. We had coverings there. I can't remember what year it was, but I think it was 2011, so about 10 years ago. This is laid out pretty nicely between the North and the Central. So it's not like you've got to go clear across, the parking lot, if you will, to get to these two venues. So it's pretty easy to get to both
okay.
halls. And as you said, the North Hall is where we have a lot of the installer stages and the TCNA pavilion and the mortar manufacturers and tools, etc.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about some of the booths maybe to get us started
Sure.
and just discuss, like first of all, the coverings lounge booth. What happens there? What do you have going on there? What can people expect to find
Yeah,
there?
there's a lot going on in the coverings lounge. I'm actually clicking on it too. But certainly you can go to the coverings website for all the details on there. But it's in the North Hall in booth N2914. That's actually where we'll be doing contractor giveaways. The contractor tour itself they'll have to. Whoever signs up for that contractor tour will start in an office area, not in the lounge, but they'll end up in the lounge. And I can find the information, on where those contractor tours are actually at the tour office. There's actually a tour office, so they have to follow that direction. But those are during lunch, around the lunch hour, 11 to 12 each day, 3 days. And then there's prize giveaways on Wednesday and Thursday. That'll be taking place in the lounge. But there's also other activities in the lounge, such as the Rock Stars and the CID Awards. Last year we had the CID Awards with our NTCA Awards event, but we're not doing that. The CID Awards are really a standalone that deserves recognition on the show floor. So that's in the lounge on
Oh,
Tuesday
nice.
at 4 o'clock. They'll actually have a stage there, and everyone will receive their awards, and you'll have a screen. I did want to call out a few contractors that that are like rock stars, like NTCA's Matt Wellner, people that are real involved in tile money with you, like Rogue Bergerson from Bergerson Tile, Jamie Karski from Metal Arc Tile, one of the young
great.
women in our industry, and Ricardo Rosa is a project manager from David Allen Company. Those are 4 NTCA or contractor type people that will be recognized, but there's a lot of other rock stars. There's fabricators, designers, distributors, manufacturers, etc. So that's at 4 o'clock, and as well as the CID awards.
Oh, so they're simultaneously together.
Yeah, they're both
starting
at 4
at 4
p.m.
on Tuesday,
yeah.
And that's inside that
inside
Coverings Lounge.
That Coverings Lounge area. So a lot of stuff going on there.
Well, sounds like another great lineup of rock stars. That always draws a crowd. It's always a good time. I appreciate how for the last several years, and maybe I've only been around a few years, right, attending these rock star awards and things. Right. But I've noticed that there's always an employee amongst the rock stars typically, or an award. Like even at TSP, we had an award for one of the Cox Tile employees, long-time employee. So we're really highlighting the artisan. One of the things I enjoy about the NTCA, appreciate about the NTCA doing here.
Yeah, and if people, I would say to your guests out there too, Luke, even for next year, is nominate people that that are. It's really, the category is very open. You can be a sole proprietor like yourself, like you were. You can be an employee of a supplier of yours, of somebody that you think is outstanding, and you want to nominate a sales rep out of a manufacturer's rep or an installation material rep. Really, just promote this, because the youth of our industry is so important, and just recognizing this and trying to elevate the next generation, I think, is a really important initiative. So nominate people. A lot of your guests do. A lot of people like Rogue Bergerson had 16, 17 nominations.
Wow.
So there a lot of people are starting to get active in this. Matt Wellner had, Matt is working for NTCA, but Matt was a sole proprietor of his own contracting business, and he had multiple nominations, from that side, as a tile contractor. So for sure, get
very
involved.
Talented, and I'm glad to see Jamie from my I'll call it my home state. I was born on the border, but North Dakota there being represented. She does some incredible work out there.
I thought you were a California guy. I didn't know you were a North Dakota guy. So.
Well, I was born in the Red River Valley on the Minnesota side, so it's just a river separating the towns, the Twin Cities there.
Yeah, so back in my day when I was in distribution, North Dakota was a state I traveled to as part of my territory out of Minneapolis. So I have a lot of respect for Jamie. She's out in that was a long drive for me, but there was some really good, hardworking people in North Dakota. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's out there, kind of out there pretty far.
Yeah.
And people. I mean, it's not a large, it's not a large place. Like it's not it's not very large at all. But it's if you look at the work she's doing work that we would expect to see on either coast or anywhere really. There's a lot of money, and that's because there's a lot of money in North Dakota, actually.
There is, and it's been both North and South Dakota have actually had a lot of growth in the last several years.
Yeah. So another stage I wanted to highlight here is booth N2270, 2270 there in the North Hall.
Yeah.
Installation innovation stage. What happens there?
So that's we used to call it the TCNA demonstration stage, and I think because there's so much more that goes on there, TCNA was gracious enough to kind of rename and rebrand this as installation innovation. So what you have there, Luke, is really both proprietary demonstrations. In other words, sponsored demonstrations on new technology or new product and new systems. Very important for our installers to look at, what's new from Schluter, or what's new from Ladecrete, what's new from Go Board, and these type companies, people that sponsor to do actual demonstrations. But NTCA also participates there, Luke. So we have 7 live training demonstrations, and we're focusing actually on specific sections and documents out of the NTCA reference manual. So instead of just looking at just new technology, we're actually incorporating several different documents from the NTCA reference manual, and you can find that on the schedule. I think there's 2 sessions a day from our trainers, and then one on the last day on Friday.
Okay. So that's something
that's packed. Those are really well done. They're not, these are not hour long. These are like 20-minute type demos, and then 5-10 minutes questions and answers. And then they move out and a new group moves in. So they've got something going on every half hour, basically, on that installation.
Yeah. They move quick. They move quick.
Yeah.
You do not want to get in their way, because they pack them in, and you're right. Short and sweet is the ticket for these types of events, coverings and stuff. Everybody likes to move around. And then, Ceramic Tile Education Foundation, they have a booth. What's happening? I'm sure there's a lot happening. I've heard some stuff, but I'll let you talk about it.
Well, there is, there's a large space area for the CTEF. We went back and forth over, do we try to, certify 10 people there? We've done a lot of this over the years, do the actual CTI tests, et cetera. But Brad Denny's the new executive director, and I think rightfully so. Brad got with the unions. We've been working all for years trying to really develop the advanced certification tests, the ACT tests, which have been slower to launch simply because we had to get the CTI program really going first. But they're going to actually partner and do an ACT test and have Jason McDaniels from the Global Tile Posse is actually one of the guys putting himself out there to actually be doing the ACT test while he's there. There's going to be a couple of union installers and a couple of Jason, and I think Joe Lima is
Joe's been talking about it.
Going to be taking the ACT test. So that's one full day that you'll be able to see what that test is all about, the different modules and how that goes, and what goes into that. I think they're doing the mud work is what I had heard. So I think there's a mud work, and then one full day the union and CTEF is also doing the gauge porcelain tile panel test, not taking the test, but showing what all goes into the test, the substrate prep and the gauge porcelain tile panel test. That's another full day. So they got a lot going on there in the CTEF booth.
Nice. Well, that sounds like it's going to draw a crowd of, the audience here that's listening, watching this. Probably be very interested in that. The ACTs have gotten a lot of hype, a lot of talk, a lot of discussion. So a lot of people are looking forward to seeing that in real life. Is it just the 2, or is there 4 tile contractors, installers? Or do you think it's just 2, Jason and Joe?
I think but I think there are 2 union installers too. So I think the union is providing 2 installers. I haven't gone back. How that. It's kind of when Brad took over. Now I'm kind of focusing on the NTCA and letting Brad.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure there's 4 installers doing the ACT test, and I have a feeling you're going to see 4 really talented people doing some work there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. Anybody who steps up to do that.
And
they better be.
Much respect from me to put themselves out there to do that. Even the guys that do the CTI test on the stage when everybody's watching, I give them all a lot of credit.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. Speaking of pressure, the podcast studio booth will be one of my pressure.
That's going to be your hangout, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll be there twice. So the podcast studio booth, and 3205 there. So this is actually a coverings podcast studio. They're building it out. And I love the idea. They're inviting any podcaster, probably YouTuber as well, could, schedule with coverings. I don't know if they have openings left, but I see some empty spots. We're going to hear from, I'll be there at 3:00 on both Tuesday and Wednesday, the 5th. And on Tuesday at 3, I'm going to interview Sharon La Riviere from Ladecrete, and she is there. She works the digital marketing and SEM strategist, social media. She's very well known, and she's going to be sharing us tips on social media in your business, and we'll be discussing strategies for contractors to use and highlighting some people. On Wednesday, I wanted to highlight this one, the Floor Academy podcast. My friend Kyle Hadeen over there is interviewing listen to this, this lineup here. We got Aaron Albright, Ken Balin, Trask Bergerson, and Joseph Matisse. And they're going to be talking about manufacturer warranties versus self-warranties. So that'll be
I think that's a really good. I knew about that because Kyle had submitted a couple of ideas to the Coverings Education Committee or the board, and I thought that was a great topic. There's a lot of our guys that and a lot of contractors who have to use a lot of different products and have their own opinions about products. Some people really feel strongly about using all of the same products from a system type warranty, and some people feel the warranties are overrated. And there's a lot of thoughts, and so they'll mix and use a different membrane or a different thin set or a different grout. And none of that's right or wrong. But it'll be interested to see what some of the contractors feel about that. That's an excellent topic, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No.
Yeah, it's a good one, and some heavy hitters there that bring some massive value to the conversation for sure. And it'd be interesting to see, because Joseph's a single operator. Obviously, Trask and Aaron have larger companies, and Ken's a single owner operator. So it'll be interesting to see the differences in opinions based on the size of their company.
That's a good point. Might be more important, for instance, to a commercial contractor for a system warranty versus someone like Joseph, but maybe not. We'll have to see what they say. So
yeah, whatever pays the bills.
Yeah, amen.
And then I'll be back there, and that's Wednesday. This one that we just discussed is at Wednesday at noon to 1. These are our slots. I'll be there again at 3 on Wednesday. And so this is something I'm doing that I'm calling my rapid fire podcasting on Wednesday. So I actually have I have five people I'm installing, 5 people I'm interviewing on Wednesday at 3:00 in the podcast booth. We have Alex Jones. I'll start there since I said it. I was going to say this a different way, but we have Alex Jones. So Alex Jones is she's not a contractor. She's not an installer. She's an apprentice. She's an apprentice of Lotus Tile, Chris Ford. And so Chris is bringing her, Alex is like 6 months to the trade, she's
That's
6
great.
months new. So she's bringing her to Coverings. Chris has discussed her relationship with her in the Tile Money Facebook group a lot, and how she found her. And we want to talk to Alex because it's good to talk to somebody who's brand new to the scene and what her experiences have been. Of course, we'll also interview Chris Ford, the boss, the owner of Lotus Tile LLC out of Denver, Colorado area. So these will be short, probably 10-minute interviews. I have 5, so we need to keep this under an hour. So then we've got Eden Rivas, Rivas Custom Tile. I'm really excited to interview Eden. He's got a lot of passion, and he brings for Tice, he brought his 2 apprentices who are both under the age of, I would say, 22. He brought them to Tice, and I believe he's bringing them back to Covering. So I like highlighting these people because we talk a lot about encouraging the youth, and these 2 individuals are among the people who are putting their money where their mouth is in this regard, really encouraging young people and, showing them the industry. And then I've got Mind Grab, and Mind is a friend of mine. He owns LFT Pro on Instagram. You might recognize that name. He's coming down from Canada, and we're going to discuss his business. He just opened a porcelain panel showroom, and he's been really hitting the porcelain panels hard for 5-6 years. So he's very insightful on this topic. He's a great guy. He's an immigrant to Canada. So he's got a lot to share, a lot of value there. And then Rachel Harara is the 5th person I'm interviewing, and she owns Tile Girl Remodeling out of Colorado, I believe Denver as well. And she's very passionate about women in the industry. She has a lot to say about that. She came from more of a financial background. I did interview her a couple years ago, but she found herself gravitating back towards the trade. the trades because, you know, she came from a trade family. So she's been really doing well, growing her business, the Tile Girl Remodeling. So I'm excited to do rapid fire with all 5 of these great
Yeah,
guests.
I love those topics, Luke, and congratulations on getting those guests. I mean, this is an example of the value that podcasts and what you do can bring to the show. You know, we've been working extremely hard on recruitment of young people into the trades.
Mm.
We're at NTCA. I think that by having some apprentices and you can actually talk to them and get their perspective on what works, you know, what got their attention, what got them to come into the trade, so we can repeat that. I think looking at the porcelain tile panel category that you're doing is really important. It's a component of our industry that can really help grow our industry and get us into new markets on both floors and walls. So, you know, I think that's just such an important category. And then, you know, finally, you know, recruitment of women or getting women featured and really promoting the women that are involved in our industry to encourage other women to enter our industry, because we are finding that young women are really, really intrigued by the artistic component of tile, as well as the construction side and the opportunity to forge a new career. So I think those are 3 great topics.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And you're right about the porcelain panel stuff. It's, there's a lot of porcelain panel demonstrations. There's the evolution of porcelain slabs, booth C4725. So make note, that's the Central Hall, Thursday at 2 to 2:30, half hour discussing the evolution there. And then I know there's a couple more. There's one on countertops. Oh, here it is. NTCA Roundtable, room N1112. So room N1112 there's a lot happening in that room.
Yeah, that's the actual, that's the, you know, and that's something to really feature is, as you know, make sure everybody knows that are coming to the show that the entire learning experience, the learning program is free. There's no cost
right.
to any of these sessions. And so the actual learning area, and again, you can plan this on coverings.com, can put all these courses into your calendar or plan your schedule. But we do have some excellent sessions going on in room N112. I think it's really 2 different rooms, and you really have 3 main tenets or 3 main themes on the learning side, Luke. You've got installation and innovation, and then you have designs and trends, you know, like the design side and new product trends, and then workforce and profits, which is, you know, similar to what you were just talking about on the business side. So things like apprenticeship and things of that nature. So workforce and profits is more on your business side, you know, and developing and growing your business. And then obviously designs and trends can be new technology. And then you have installation and innovation. And some products, like you just mentioned, like the gauge porcelain tile panel category, those kind of cross over, right? It's a trend. It's new technology. It's a technological trend, but it's also, as you know, needs a lot of installation training. And so it really kind of crosses over into both categories. And one of our sessions at NTCA on Tuesday is looking at exterior installations and new technology. And you know, that's thanks for popping that up. That's good. But that's got what I'm doing with that, Luke, is kind of similar to what you were doing in your podcast. Is I've got
Some heavy hitters.
I got 6 people in only an hour, just like you. So this is rapid fire, just like you. And what we're doing is we're actually featuring a case study of each of theirs, and we've got like 10 minutes to go over it. And all of it is generally either a gauge porcelain tile panel countertop type project. We've got the 2 centimeter materials, exterior, you know, thicker porcelain, because don't forget, it's not just the panels that are really picking up. It's the whole technology to where you can produce porcelain tile in varying thicknesses. These 2 centimeter materials are all, you know, also exploding. Exterior pedestal systems will be featured as well. So each of these people have a specific, unique project. I'm bringing all 6 of them back to the roundtable live on Thursday, so we can get deeper
Oh,
into their
follow up.
yeah, I think
Oh,
all of them. I don't
oh,
know if they've
good.
all confirmed. At least 5 of the 6 have confirmed. But the reason I'm bringing them back is there's no way we're going to be able to get into depth into all of that, with each of these projects. And I actually do want to talk to them a little bit more about, challenges they're seeing to their business. You've done a good job recently, and I know I've tried to address, supply issues, contractual, issues that are happening because of price protection, price escalation challenges. You bid a job, you get a price. Then by the time it's time to get the job, the price has changed. All of this stuff. It will be part of more of a roundtable discussion on Thursday. So that's just an example. And then on Wednesday, I'm bringing in Jason McDaniels and Amber Truckee, and everybody's kind of seen. And my goal with Jason and Amber is not so much to go through the whole process, but to really, talk about, when Amber had, if for those that don't know or need to remember, Amber was the person who had the shower demonstrated and literally destroyed and she was able to capture that, and then it went viral, right? And Jason came in and helped organize a group of people to come in and redo that shower. And Amber and Jason will talk about that experience. But a lot of this is meant to be educational. How do we prevent these things from happening? What goes into selecting a contractor? What goes into how we can turn this negative into a positive, and from an educational standpoint, make sure these things don't happen again. And Luke, we have so much work to do related to getting the people hired that are qualified to do the work. Generally, what when disappointment and anger happen is when people take on work that they can't handle, and then or they overpromise expectations they can't deliver, and then you have a consumer experience and a contractor experience that goes bad. And this is just one of those examples that needs to be talked about, because I hate to say it, but these things do happen on a regular basis. Maybe not at this level, and maybe not where it escalates to what this did. But as well as I do that you have unhappy customers, clients, consumers. You have tile contractors that aren't happy with their consumer experience. And I think we can really learn something here and maybe move forward with a strategy. So that's a session we're talking about.
Okay. No, I'm looking forward to it. That'll be interesting. I love anytime we can get outside perspectives, and that's kind of my idea with bringing on Chris's apprentice is, hey, there's an outside perspective. She's not 18, so she's had some work, she's been employed before. So we want to know how is your view? And then with Amber Truckee, obviously she had a really bad experience there. And I think there's a lot of different opinions on how that all went down, and everybody's going to have an opinion. But the fact of the matter is, we weren't there. I wasn't there, certainly. So and what Jason did here is, his intention from the beginning, he made it clear, was to save some face for the tile industry, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, this thing, like you said, was going viral internationally. It's not just social media, but broadcast, media, television, and stuff like that.
So, yeah, I think it's an important topic. And like you said, the worst thing we can do is just ignore issues like this. We need to address them and get better as an industry. And I hope that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then did we mention that Jim Olson's doing some contractor tours? What are these like for people?
He's a lot of fun with this. This is one of his passions is, we have a lot of people that have been to coverings many, many years, but there's also, we forget sometimes about, how many new people that you and I both meet that it's their first time attending. And, when you're an installer or a contractor and you're not maybe a direct importer, you're not going to the show to buy containers of tile from Brazil or from Italy or from Spain, but you want value. You're an industry person. These are perfect examples because a lot of new attendees meet new people at events like this. Jim
Mhm.
gathers 20, 25 people. I think that's as many as you can do to control a crowd and take them on
Right.
the show floor. But there's sponsors or hosts in the TCNA pavilion that will be ready for this tour group. And in 1 hour, he does a rapid fire round robin. Hey, we're going on to the next booth. And then that booth is waiting for Jim's group to come in, and they introduce themselves, introduce their booth, and maybe give one highlight of a new product, and then maybe give them a little swag or a little gift. But then they tell them, come on back to our booth if you want to know more. It's a great little introductory type tour to see what's out there. And then a lot of these contractors, and that's the qualification. You have to be an installer or contractor on your badge. And then they meet each other, and then they come back later for the happy hours. And Jim's got a bunch of these sponsors or booth hosts that gave him prizes. Some of those prizes might be industry related, some might not. I don't know what, but then, when everybody's having a beer at happy hour, he does a big prize giveaway. It's become, I think we've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years. It's become a real important fixture of the show to benefit the tile installer, tile contractor, for them to have stuff going on the show floor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, it's a good time. It's a good hangout for sure. And Jim does an excellent job. He's entertaining, keeps the crowd engaged, which is important at these things. We do have, speaking of, happy hours and stuff, Coverings has its own beer garden, room N909.
Right.
And I think this is
in the North Pavilion. So that'll be near where everything's going on. Yeah.
Yep. Not far at all. And I think they're doing beer daily, or I'm not sure. I saw a couple different times. Tuesday, I think, they open it up at noon.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm sure, but not on Friday, because we close early on Friday. Yeah.
And then there's 2 parties I want to highlight. One is the Tile Nation Networking Party. That's Wednesday evening. You do need to register online. We're using an Eventbrite. If you have not registered, just ask me and I'll send you the link, or you can find it on social media. Thursday is the NTCA Awards event. This is always a good time. I feel like somebody when I'm at this event. It's like something you'd see on TV, though. It's done really well, and you highlight and give awards. And I love hearing the stories, the prequels of how this person kind of developed over the years, because it's always somebody who 25, 30 years experience in the industry. Typically, these are a lot of fun. Good dinner, drinks. Sometimes there's dancing. What you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. There won't be dancing this year, but we definitely are open from 5:30 till I think 8, and maybe it'll even go to 8:30. But with the awards program itself, will be from 6 to 7:30. But it's not a seated dinner. You do not need to register, but get there early. It seats probably 250 to 300, and we usually get at least 250 there. Sometimes people are there for a cocktail and to watch the awards, and then they take off. But we hope people stay and network afterwards. We do have some really, we feature a lot of nice events, or we feature a lot of nice awards. We give 3 scholarships to students or children of NTCA contractor members. So 2 of the 3 will be in person. One is at school and can't make it, but sent a little video. So we have that. We give our 5-star projects of the year some really beautiful installations. We recognize a couple of those. We actually have our tile person of the year, which is, can sometimes, as you said, Luke, be somebody that's got 30 years in the industry, but also sometimes we feature somebody that we just think has done something outstanding for the last couple of years. This particular person that we're honoring, it will not be a surprise when they're there, but we're putting a press release out next week, so I'm going to hold off making the announcement. But this is a person that is very well known in tile money and very well known on social media, but has also been involved with NTCA for 10 to 12 years, but not some, not forever on that side. So it's kind of a hybrid. And then we, instead of our service to the industry, we usually give what you talked about there, that Ed Metcalf last year from Ladecrete received our service to the industry award. The year before, it was Mary Yoakum from Schluter Systems. These could be industry people, or they're industry people, but they could be contractors, or they could be manufacturers, or they could be distributors. We're not doing that this year. We're skipping a year to focus on our 75th anniversary. So it's the NTCA's 75th anniversary. So I interviewed many people out at Tice, and was able to kind of capture a little bit of our history. More importantly, what people feel about NTCA, the value of NTCA, what it's done for them in their careers. And we're producing a very nice video on that. So that video presentation of our 75th anniversary will replace the Service to the Industry Award. So we've got that going on. The Tile Council of North America also participates with us, and they are honoring their Tile Person of the Year there as well. So there's a lot going on. As you said, it's free. You do not need to register like you do for your event on Eventbrite, but I do recommend getting there. It's right when the show closes at 5:30. We don't start till 6, but get some food, get a cocktail, and get a seat, because I just don't know sometimes how many people come.
Yeah, they pack out pretty quick. So I would definitely recommend checking this out. If you're going to be there Thursday at 5:30, 6 o'clock, do not miss this one for sure. And then Tile Nation also has a booth this year, and I wasn't sure if I could announce this, but we got confirmation yesterday, our booth number. We've been working with coverings for a few weeks. So booth N112, come meet the Tile Nation team. We'll be doing some impromptu, short 10-minute podcasts there as well. If you want to be featured on the Tile Money podcast or the Tile Nation YouTube channel, come on by. See Adam Christensen doing porcelain panel demonstrations. We're going to be using crossfill panels. And so we've got some cool stuff lined up all 4 days in that booth N112. You can see the progress throughout the week. So that'll be fun. If you're interested in porcelain panels, come on by for sure.
Yeah, and our NTCA is in 2 booths as well. We're in N2868, and then we're also in the TCNA pavilion. So we've got a big booth. We have our Gage porcelain tile panel truck and our regional seminar truck, where we do substrate prep, GPTP, and showers and other programs around the country. So we have that truck in our booth.
Excellent.
That'll be going on there as well. And then we actually have a booth in the TCNA pavilion.
You do? Okay.
And I don't want to forget, Luke, the NTCA is really helping promote the CTEF raffle for Angie Ray's flag. Right. I don't know if we can, if you go to the CTEF website, you can buy raffle tickets now, or you can buy them down at the show. This is really cool. So Angie created this flag that Ron Nash from Ladecrete actually donated, because Ron had commissioned Angie to build it for him, and it just didn't work from a size standpoint. So Ron decided to do something really productive here, and he donated this. And Angie is at her own time and expense, bringing the flag down to the show. We're putting it in the NTCA booth. She'll be there to talk about artistic work and the type of work that she does. We've been all trying to do a lot of promotion of the people that are really bringing artisanship back to our industry and really creating awareness of it. And Angie's a good example. If you go to the CTEF website, ceramictilefoundation.org, it's really easy to buy tickets. They're only $5 for a ticket, but someone's going to win an incredible piece of art. It could be hung, it could be incorporated, into an installation. It could be hung on its own, and you'll see that in our booth.
Yeah, well, I bought my tickets, and I hate to break it to everybody, but I'm going to win it this year.
I saw that you posted that you're going to win it. So if you got a spot for it, that's good. And by the way, NTCA is sponsoring Angie's costs to get there, the logistics, and to ship it, and to ship that flag back to the winning recipients. So NTCA is kind of covering that. So there's not going to be any freight costs for someone who wins it. That's important because sometimes you win something and then you're on your own to figure out how to get that home. And this particular one, we're covering getting it to your house or your shop. Would be an incredible piece of art at someone's shop, by the way, too. So one way or the other, I know someone's going to win an incredible piece of art that Angie created, and more importantly, the CTF is going to benefit because all of the proceeds are going to the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation, which Brad Denny's doing an incredible job of really trying to get that program to grow and launch. It's a lot of work to do. So anything we can do to support that foundation, NTCA is committed to.
Yep, I'm gonna do a quick share my screen here, if I can. Trying to pull a hat trick out to showcase this because it is so cool. This is the mosaic here. I can't do it.
You can't get it up?
Well, no, I've got to reset some of my settings on my computer. So
well, you've definitely put it out. I mean, we've been posting it on social media.
Yeah.
I know we're out promoting it now, and it's really easy to order. You can order like one for $5, and then there's multiples of
like 5 for 20. I think.
Yeah, so, 5 for 20, etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're doing the drawing live. We're going to do that drawing live in our booth. I think that CTEF is going to air it live on social media, but that's going to be Thursday at 4:00. So before the awards program, in our booth, we're actually going to do that raffle. So hopefully we can get everybody over to watch that raffle and we find out who actually wins.
Yeah, they'll watch me win it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll announce it. That's the Tile Money host is the winner of the flag. I love it.
Well, I bought my tickets.
Yep. I got to buy mine yet, but I'm definitely buying them.
No, that would be, in all seriousness, that's going to be a lifetime, generational artwork for whoever wins that. That's something special for sure.
Maybe I can win it and then donate it back for another raffle, right?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
No, if I won it, I could think of a place. It would be really cool at our headquarters, if you will. So
yeah, absolutely. So the last tip I'll give, and then if you have something, a tip, we've been going on 40 minutes, is listen, friends, if it's your first time, even if it's your 10th time, you might want to utilize the online planner, Coverings online planner, coverings.com, as well, or the mobile app that they have, a Coverings 2022 mobile app in your app store. It's very responsive. It works fabulously. You can, put your calendar, you can take notes there in the app. At least I've been playing with it. You can, build out your calendar. The last thing you want to do is invest money to go to these shows and have good intentions to see, some educational, tracks and things of this nature. And if this is your first time, or even like I said, multiple times, you're going to be distracted. Like my 5-year-old daughter says, I got distracted, Dad. It's like an hour later. She hasn't brushed her teeth because she got distracted. And that's the way it is at Coverings. I mean, it's like a tile, big candy land for tile people. So build out your planners because you want to get that education or see who you want to see. I like to do that. Otherwise, there's no telling what you're going to do.
So that's great, Luke. I'm running out of my time, so I guess I wanted to say just a couple things. That Thursday, which is our 75th anniversary, our awards night is that night. Just a correction, the CTEF raffle, the flag raffle, will be at 3 p.m. That day. But also that day, because we're kind of making that part of our kind of a big day for NTCA, we're bringing in Ben Rosenthal, who's a lawyer from the law firm that we've been working with, Hendrick Phillips, Salzman and Siegel. That's a law firm that specializes in subcontractor law, which is really important because there's a lot of construction lawyers who represent general contractors, but this law firm that we work with represents specialty contractors, subcontractors, tile contractors.
Nice.
And we had a webinar that Laticrete sponsored last week. We had over 200 people watching this webinar. I think you were down where we had been at in Jacksonville at Total Solutions Plus. Yeah. Anyways, he's doing a session in the learning program. he'll be doing a session on protection of for subcontractors. It's really important, and he'll be in our booth on Thursday to meet people and talk to people. Free advice, free. Get to know. There's a lot of important information from a legal side that I think contractors can really benefit from. And then we also sponsored at NTCA, along with covering, sponsored a pretty cool guest by the name of Molly Elkman. She wrote a book called The House That She Built. And
sure.
It's a children's book that's really, providing, really done very, very well. And she has a nonprofit association, and she does a lot of work to try to promote and create, awareness to young women about construction and housing. And she'll be our guest at 1:45 p.m. in our booth to speak to people, sign her children's book, and we're happy to be promoting that as well.
That's excellent. That's really good. The house that she built, I know we've had some Tylers, at least one I can think of, Abby Copeland out of Bend, Oregon, do a house, tile a house that she built, I guess
that's great.
The program there. So that was good. I'm not sure. I can't remember if Abby said she's going to be at coverings or not, but no, that sounds like a good one. The last thing I'll say, because people are always saying, well, and I know it's 2 weeks away. So if you haven't, the thing about it is I always like to put these out because contractors sometimes,
and they make last minute decisions to come.
That's right. Yeah. Because
okay. I mean, that's such a great point you make. I mean, I could tell you that we track registration at coverings, and it's amazing how many people register and come in the last 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, attendance looks really good. And this is going to be an excellent show from the standpoint of from the overall management of the show. We're happy with the amount of exhibit space sold. We're happy with the mix of international and domestic companies, and it looks like we have a really good, strong attendance of distributor buyers, contractors, installers, fabricators, designers. So, but by all means, if you're within driving distance or a quick flight out to Vegas, you never have to worry about hotel rooms. There's so many options to stay. The Las Vegas Convention Center is kind of really easy to get to. So I hope we can help get more people to come off the fence and decide to come, because let me tell you, Luke, really there is a lot more to do for a tile installer, tile contractor than there was 10, 15, 20 years ago. We've really done a good job in our industry, people like you and NTCA and CTEF, and, of really trying to create experiences and events for the contractors so that, that they feel welcome, and they should feel welcome. This is their show.
They do. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you can't make coverings or I wanted to talk about two more real quick. I'm just going to mention them because I know you got to go. I want to hop off too. The first one that I know of is the Mud event, August 18th through 20th, Idaho Falls. That's at Tile Trends. That's for those of you who come to learn the old school ways of floating. We do have modern materials there as well, but we have a lot of floating education and demonstrations going on, as well as a CTI. CTEF always holds a CTI testing there the first day, and then TSP, Total Solutions Plus, November 6, 7, 8, Indian Wells, California, which is a phenomenal program. I encourage all my Tile Money audience. This is the program for business owners to come and rub shoulders with some of the best tile contractor business owners in the world. And I can say that with all sincerity.
If I could just put one plug on that, that's a great point you made. But there were 5 or 6 contractors in Jacksonville that I met that had come for the first time, and some of them were sole proprietors, some of them had small businesses.
Sure.
But, it's an investment to come to Total Solutions Plus. This is not the same as a free big trade show. It's an intimate industry conference. But your point is really well taken. I only wanted to add that not only will they meet and interact with other contractors and really get value from that, but they will meet the distributors and manufacturers from their industry and make some contacts that can go a long way down the road for them.
Yeah.
It's really a good event. It's you can't find an event where you can sit down with the top people of Crossville and of Dow Tile and of Schluter and all the way to independent distribution and really share your ideas on what distributors can do and how contractors and distributors can improve their relationship. And it's really a great event. And all those people that came for the first time said that they got value out of that event, that had paid for their all of their expense, their hotel and their conference registration, just by a couple of sessions that they attended, that they felt that they got that much value. So I'm glad you plugged that, because it's really a great conference. It's truly it's not a trade show. It's a management and leadership conference and networking event.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Bart. Well, on that note, I think we've covered everything pretty well.
Thank you, Luke.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on and sharing with the Tile Money friends. We'll talk to you soon. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Seeing everybody at coverings.
Absolutely. All right. Take care, Tile friends.